ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my fellow Americans, and, well, everybody else. A little bit of something today, just kind of a roundup of a whole bunch of different topics that have popped up over the last week, or some of them this morning, that I just want to touch on briefly, and kind of throw out there. As is said in the channel description, this is pretty much a cathartic outlet for me, and just so I can get stuff off my chest and I don't wind up having these conversations with people who don't want to have them, since I seem to know plenty of people who don't like having these conversations with me, mostly because they don't share my opinions and I tend to challenge theirs. And you know what? That's on you, bro, or whoever, right? And I'm more than willing to have a tough conversation. I'm more than willing to have a nuanced conversation. But I'm not going to buy the bullshit just because it's, slick. So let's go ahead and dive into this one, right? Cannons and nukes and F-15s. Oh my. Within the last couple of days, the actual president of the United States. Now, this wasn't some congressman. This wasn't some senator. This wasn't some politician on the road to attempt to get elected. This wasn't Swalwell banging a Chinese spy and talking about, hey, well, you may have the rifles, but we've got the nukes. Oh, you telling me you're going to send a nuclear warhead-equipped cruise missile at Kenosha because there's a riot and somebody's got rifles? Is that what you're telling me, Eric? Because that's what it sounds like you're telling me. Huh. Probably shouldn't be in the government. Probably shouldn't be in your position at all. Matter of fact, we might want to look into you for domestic terrorism charges. Just my thought, maybe actual treason. But no, not some dumbass like that. The actual president of the United States. I guess he went off script. I'm going to go ahead and guess that he went off script and decided to ignore the teleprompter and be fiery and, maybe try to look like a hard ass because cowards do that, and he's a fucking coward. If you think you need a AR-15, or if you think an AR-15 is gonna do the thing up against the federal government, you're gonna need F-15s and you're gonna need nukes. You're gonna need nuclear weapons to go. Okay. First things first, and this is also within context of discussing the Second Amendment and the words of Thomas Jefferson. Blood of patriots and tyrants, tree of liberty, that whole thing. The thing, right? The Thomas Jefferson thing. The thing. Yeah, I'm doing just a little bit of Biden here. Well, he was fucking right. First of all, Jefferson was right. And the reason that we have such problems with our government right now is because we haven't hanged any government officials for their crimes in the last fucking 100 years. And I'm not saying that in terms of mob justice. I'm actually saying that in terms of putting them through the actual legal system as it stands, finding them guilty, convicting them of their crimes, and giving them the appropriate punishments under our legal system. We haven't done it. They're protected. Okay? So, yeah, I'm a little fiery about that. And I have been for a really long time. So if anybody thinks that's new, and it doesn't matter if they're a Democrat or a Republican or Green Party or LP or... No, I don't give a shit who you are, and I don't give a shit what your ideology is. If you're that corrupt, you deserve the consequences. But, we've allowed them to skate, and we've allowed them to skate, and we've allowed them to skate. And we've been doing it for way too long. So now we have a protected political elite class that pretty much gets to do whatever the fuck they want, because it's in the words of George Carlin, it's a big and club, and you ain't in it. Well, wonderful. All right, so context. Second Amendment, Thomas Jefferson. Uncle Joe, no relation to Stalin at all, I hope. Maybe an ideology. I'm not really sure about that. I think he's just old and out of touch and a corrupt career politician from, the last 48 years. Uncle Joe seems to think that when the Second Amendment was put into law, these are his words, not mine, restricted who could and couldn't own guns. No, it didn't. That's just wrong. A free state, well-regulated militia being necessary to the free state, right of the people, something about, keep bear arms, that whole thing shall not be infringed. The Second Amendment didn't have anything to say about who beyond the people, and that's not the government, Joe. Yeah, his previous statements about we the people, that means the government. The government is the people. No. You're getting it exactly backwards. The people should be the government. Okay? By, for, and of the people, or however you want to rearrange that around, the people should be the government. The government is not the people. Okay? Let's get these things straight. Now, if A equals A, we don't have a problem. The problem occurs when A and B exist and they are not equal. And that's what we have right now. A being the government, B being the people, and the two not being equal. We have that, okay? And that's what the founders were concerned about. So, get fucked. You couldn't buy cannons way back in the day. Well, actually, you could. You could buy them, you could own them, and you could use them. You could even use them for local or national defense, or defense of your own fucking property if you wanted to. Private American citizens owned and operated warships. Letter of marque, that mean anything to you? M-A-R-Q-U-E. Does that mean anything? Marque and reprisal, does that mean anything? No. Those two things are related. They're not necessarily the same. Anyway, so yes, you could own a fucking cannon. Now, the average American citizen, to my knowledge, has never been allowed to own a nuclear weapon. And I've actually discussed that in a previous video somewhere at some time. It may be on the YouTube channel, talking about ambient risk and the difference between owning a firearm and owning a nuclear weapon, and why one of those should be far less restricted and the other one, well, basically nobody should have nukes. So it's kind of a moot point. All right. F-15s. Well, I'm not 100% sure about F-15s. I don't know how many of those are on the market, but I do know for a fact that you can purchase demilled F-16s, and you can, if you get the right paperwork, you can outfit them pretty hardcore. But you can buy them and you can maintain them and fuel them, and if you've got the money, okay, you can have your very own personal F-16. You can. It's a thing. Just like tanks. You can buy a fucking tank. Now, whether or not the gun works, that's heavily regulated. Most cases, for most private citizens, without jumping through years worth of paperwork, the main gun is not going to be allowed to function. But you can still buy a tank. And, if you're suitably pissed off, you can just build a killdozer. One guy did that. Go look it up. I'm not going to get into, and I'm not even going to give you my opinion about the whole killdozer situation. Not in this particular video, but it's a thing. Go look it up. Joe, dumbass. But you're telling me that people with AR-15s who might have a grievance against the government, who might not even try to use their AR-15 against the government, it may be entirely defensive in posture. They may just be going, look, I've got this over here to protect myself and my family, and if you come after me or my family, I'm going to use it. Those people are enough of a threat that you're telling them you're going to need some F-15s and nukes to take me on? Who's that concerned about their citizenry rising up against them? Illegitimate governments, that's who. Legitimate governments with the backing of the people, with a mandate from the people, who know that they are legitimate governments, they know they are popular governments, they know that the people support them and that the people are in favor of the things that they're doing, they don't have to make these kinds of statements. And the reason they don't have to make these kinds of statements is because they have the support of the people and they know they are legitimate governments. Illegitimate governments have to make these kinds of statements. Tyrannical governments feel like they have to make these kinds of statements. Be afraid of us. Be afraid of us, you fucking peasants. Sit down and shut up. Your pea shooter ain't enough. Oddly enough, this is the exact same government that feels as though democracy was threatened. The very fabric of our government, the very fabric of our nation, the government itself was threatened by an insurrectionist coup that was like 99.8% unarmed. Does that make any sense to you? Seems like an odd dichotomy to me. Your rifle is useless, but democracy was almost overthrown by some fucking unarmed grandmas and Yahoo in a Viking hat. Right. Shit. Sorry, had a bit of something in my chest there. So anyway, and as far as the whole, no government's ever been overthrown with just small arms, well, look at literally every successful insurrection or revolution in world history and find out that you're wrong. History disagrees with you, Joe. Shut the fuck up. The actual words of Thomas Jefferson and the history and context surrounding those words disagrees with you. Shut the fuck up. The history of the American Revolution and Second Amendment disagrees with you. Shut the fuck up. There was one landmark court case that screwed the entire country as far as the Second Amendment was concerned, and these anti-gun bastards have been holding that up as a gold fucking standard of the proper interpretation, even though it was tossed the fuck out, even though the actual origin of that proper interpretation was very much pro-slavery and extremely fucking racist. Yeah. That's your gold standard as far as gun control and the proper interpretation legally of the Second Amendment. And they like to say that, oh, no, it's been revised, and they've tried to reinterpret it since then, and oh, it's so horrible. You know what? License to carry is a fucking poor tax. Eat a dick. You care about the poor. You care about the poor people being able to defend themselves, especially when you're defunding the fucking police and, police are retiring, police are quitting. They're getting sick of your bullshit. They're going, you know what? This ain't fucking worth the paycheck, okay? The risk that I'm at this point is no longer worth the fucking paycheck. I'm out of here. I don't want to enforce all this tyrannical bullshit. I'm out of here. And they're leaving. And response times are getting longer and longer and longer and longer. And you know what's still true? When seconds count, the police are only minutes away. That's still fucking true, okay? So I'm a little fired up about that. I'm a little fired up about that. People want to take their safety into their own hands. They want to be able to defend themselves. They want to be able to defend their families. They want to be able to defend their homes and their property. And you're basically telling them, well, if you want to do that, then you're probably a terrorist, and you need to just go ahead and hand over your guns because you're going to need nukes to come after me. Oh, that's a really fucking weird take. Matter of fact, that actually harkens back to that original, very terrible, racist, pro-slavery gun control decision with the Supreme Court that y'all like to use as the gold standard for the proper interpretation of the Second Amendment. Now, I say y'all like to use it. The anti-gun people, the anti-Second Amendment people, the people who genuinely feel that if they had the votes, they would attempt to get the Second Amendment wholly repealed instead of just pecking away at it piece by fucking piece. Hey, you know what? Go fuck yourself. History disagrees with you, Joe. You're just wrong about a lot of shit, okay? Now, maybe it's because you're old. Maybe it's because you don't know any better. The problem is you've been saying this shit for my entire fucking life, because I'm pushing 40 this year. You've been in office now 48 years. You've been in political office almost 10 years longer than I've even been alive. And you've been saying all this crap, all this bullshit, all these lies, all this wrong shit. I mean, just factually fucking wrong for almost 10 years longer than I've even fucking been alive. I support the Second Amendment. Fire 2 blasts in the air and, go ahead and commit a crime in the defense of your home. That's Joe Biden's advice. Violate safety and actually probably municipal ordinances, possibly county statutes, possibly state laws. Then if it actually comes down to hit somebody and injure them, well, then you're liable. Well, hey, you know what? We can't all be such winners, right? So history disagrees with you, Joe. Real life disagrees with you. Reality disagrees with you. The facts disagree with you. Shut the fuck up. And, I would go further in this video. I got a few other things that I do want to rant about, but we're pushing 20 minutes. And I feel like I've ranted about Joe Biden and guns and his general stupidity long enough. I think that maybe the audience gets the fucking picture. And, if you disagree, leave me a comment down below. Tell me why you disagree. Tell me why you're wrong. How about that? Tell me why you're wrong. Leave me a comment down below and tell me why you're wrong. You can give the video a little thumbs up, a little thumbs down. Let me know why either way. You're not going to hurt my feelings either way, damn sure. Share the video with your friends and your family, and even if it's just, because you want to make fun of me and look at this dumb guy, right? Probably just make yourself look bad if that's your angle, but hey, whatever. That's cool. Like, share, subscribe. As I said before, these videos do go out to multiple video hosting platforms. I post on BitChute, I post on YouTube, and I post on Rumble. And sometimes, for some reason, the videos don't always make it onto BitChute. They get stuck in processing limbo. Most of the time, I can get it fixed. Sometimes I can't. I don't know what's up with that. It's kind of weird. I never seem to have that problem with Rumble, but you have to actually subscribe to the channel on Rumble to know that the new videos are up, or you have to have a direct link to them, which is why I include links to the other platforms in the description for every video. It is what it is. I think that's just about it for this particular rant, and maybe I'll do another one. If I do, I won't see you guys, you'll see me, and I hope you got something out of it. Whether you did or you didn't, have a good one.